some food preservation today. Trying to get some sweet potatoes here scrubbed. So I'm not like truly cleaning them because I'm gonna be peeling these and blanching them so they'll get cleaner, but I want to get like chunks of dirt and stuff off. So I was at, hold on, I need an apron because I'm a mess. I went recently to the local apple house in my area that I go to every fall. I try to go a couple of times. I try to go early, mid, and late season on the apples. At the very least, I'll go early and late. My daughter likes the Honey Crisp, which are early. My son likes the Granny Smith, which are late. I like the Carnivals, which are late, and I like Macintosh, which are mid. But I went the other day for our early season visit, a little bit late, barely got any Honey Crisps. And they had these boxes of sweet potatoes, 40-pound boxes for $26 or $28. It was a good deal in my area, at least. That's a good deal. It's pretty cheap. Usually around here in season, sweet potatoes are for sale like, if I'm lucky, like $1 a pound. I think once last year, right around one of the holidays, it was 79 cents, and it was one of those like 2-day deals and while supplies last and what have you. I did grow sweet potatoes 2 years ago, and they did really, really well. I decided not to grow them this year because we just don't eat that many of them. So you might be asking them why I bought a 40-pound box. Actually, I have a lot of ideas in my head this year. I get ideas all year, and I will write them on a sticky note, and I will sit them in my calendar. Like, it's the beginning of September, so I just found like the turn to September, and I find all my sticky notes for things that are like fall seasonal vegetables. And I had a lot of ideas for sweet potatoes in there, so I want a lot just to try stuff. I'm going to really quickly interrupt this regularly scheduled sweet potato video to tell you that one of the recipes I had in mind to try with these sweet potatoes I made this week, and it was so good that I decided to put it in this month's newsletter. If you're not aware of my newsletter, I send out recipes exclusive to my email list once a month, along with tips, tricks, stuff like that, and a little more personal note. If you are interested in getting that recipe, today is Monday, September 11th, 2023, and that newsletter will go out this Thursday, which would be the 14th, 2023. If you're watching this before then and you want that, you can sign up below. I'm going to try to figure out how to leave a link to that newsletter sign up below. And if I'm not successful, you can go to my blog, dailyration.net, which should also be linked below. And in the right sidebar, there's this thing about broccoli recipes, and that is a newsletter sign up as well. So either one of those two methods, if you're interested in that. I do make one thing very, very frequently in the fall and winter for breakfast that has sweet potato in it. It's like a hash with sweet potatoes and kale and onions and bell peppers. That's why I froze some onions and bell peppers during the Every Bit Counts challenge. I'll link that video below if I remember. I forget what else I put in it, but I really liked it, and I thought what I would try to do this year is I would try to chunk it up like I like it in my hash, but freeze dry it, because when I make the hash, it comes together pretty quick, but the longest part is waiting for the sweet potatoes to cook through. And so I thought, and I did try frozen ones one time, but they were just a little bit too mushy. I don't know if I froze them myself, if it would be less mushy, like, I don't know. But I thought I would try the freeze drying route. So I'm gonna chunk up a lot of these and freeze dry them. I'm also going to cook and mash several of them, because some of the recipes I want to try have mashed sweet potato in them. And so I thought it would just save me a step later on to have it mashed in the freezer. And then I'm actually gonna leave about half of these just plain and regular. I'll put them down in on my orchard rack in the basement. just for trying out those recipes, just to have like regular ones. So I won't scrub those. They look so clean, and then you look at the water and you're like, bleh, they're not clean. You get a few more in here. Trying to get to about half of my box. I put my little scrubber on the bottom of this, didn't I? Yes, I did. So this is probably, I'm hoping that I can do this all at one time, but it's going to be a lot on my hands. Doing all the peeling and then cutting, because sweet potatoes they're hard for cutting. I might get out my little onion chopper and see if that works for these. I feel like they're going to be too tough though, but we'll see. I can try it. So for the ones that I'm going to do in the freeze dryer and the ones that I'm going to mash, I will need to blanch them. Well, no. The ones I'm going to mash, I don't need to blanch, but I need to cook them, just like you would mashed potatoes. The ones that are going in the freeze dryer, I do need to blanch. At least that's my understanding. I've never freeze dried sweet potatoes before. I'm not sure how many it will take to fill my freeze dryer either. I do want to go ahead and do a full freeze dryer of these just because I have so many and I can experiment with them with other things too. All right, let me get you over to the counter where I'm going to peel and chop all these. First, I'm actually going to put a couple, I see a couple tiny sprouts on some of these. I'm going to put them over here to be used pretty quick. There's one that's no good, and I don't want the one that's attached to either. Okay, get these over here. Okay, and the rest I will put the lid on and put them back. I will put them downstairs in my basement. About half a box is left. Oh, that's way more lighter now. Okay. By the way, I am sorry for the sound in the background. If you hear it, I do have chicken in my pressure canner. Let's see here. All right, I have my bowl of ones I scrubbed. I've got, this is where my chunks will go, and this is for my scraps. I know that you can eat the ends of the sweet potato, but I just find them way more easy to peel if I have a little bit trimmed off the end. And I have a plethora right now, so I am totally okay with wasting a tiny bit. Okay, that took about an hour, and I ended up having to switch some bowls partway through. This is what I chopped small to go in the freeze dryer. I got them like that big. And I filled this one up, was the one I was filling. When it came down to my last few, I couldn't fit, so I pulled all the ones that weren't cut yet out, dumped this into there so that I could continue filling it. And then this were my last ones. I cut these bigger because I'm just going to boil these for mashing. And I did pull out like 3 more sweet potatoes to just add a little more to this. And I'm going to, I did get 2 pots of water on the stove. I decided it'd be, in the interest of time, it would be great for me to get that water heated. So I'm going to be blanching these and boiling these, and I'm gonna go check and see if my water's boiling yet. Okay, my pot for blanching is not yet ready, but my pot for boiling is. So I'm gonna dump these in because I need to reuse this bowl anyways. And I'm just boiling those till they're soft. I'm not gonna do anything special with them. I'm not gonna add anything to them. I'm just going to just mash them and freeze them like that and see how that works for me. So I still have a few more minutes, which is funny because this is the stronger burner. I'm gonna go get ice water in here for the blanching. Okay, I have my ice water, and I actually decided to do it in the bowl I was using for my peels because this is a small batch, and I'm gonna put my finished ones in here until I need my giant bowl again. My water is boiling. I'm gonna go grab my sweet potatoes here. Okay. So I'm going to actually do quite a bit at one time because that light is so not helpful. I don't have any reason not to. Woo, that's a lot. I'm going to have to start with spoonfuls. It's just too, until it gets like down quite a bit. So sweet potatoes need like 3 to 5 minutes to blanch. And since these are chopped pretty small, I'm going to lean more on the 3-minute side. And when I'm about halfway done with this, I'm going to go ahead and go out to the out to my garage where my freeze dryer is and grab the trays and get it started, because you have to cool the chamber first, and that's a 15-minute thing. So, but I do want to get them on the trays and in there because I'm running out of time before I have to go get my mini-me's from school. Okay, it's been about 3 minutes. I'm going to take these out, plunge them into the ice water to stop the cooking. I'm probably going to have to replace the ice in here quite often. You want it cool enough to stop the cooking. Blanching these when you're going to freeze or freeze dry them is just really good because it helps them not get mushy and retain better texture when you use them later when they're thawed or reconstituted or whatever you're doing with them. Hard to see in the bottom of my pot there. Okay, and let's see if I can get some more of these in there without having to scoop them by hand. Okay. That's my chicken in the pressure cooker. What else do I need a colander? I think I'm actually going to end up, the ice is already melted in this bowl, so I think I'm going to actually end up draining them in the colander just to be faster instead of scooping it with this into the other bowl. And by the time I'm done with that, it'll probably be time to take these ones out. Okay, so get these in here from the colander. Oops, not you. Mix of ice. Get these out into the ice water. Okay. Let's see if I can get the rest of these in here. Hot splashes. It's hard space-wise to get this bowl up here because our current setup is pretty low. It is tall enough to use my pressure canner, my All-American on the front burners, but I end up using my electric one a lot. So I rinsed this out so that I can dump this one in here because this takes up too much room. This is the bowl. This big one is the bowl they were in. I need one of those giant like 30-quart bowls. Before I put them in, this was the bowl they were in. So I'm gonna need one of these for those when they're done, actually, yeah. Well, I could put them straight in the thingy. Stand mixer. Okay, I'm gonna go out to my garage and get my freeze dryer on while those are cooking for their 3 minutes. And then I need to come back and put fresh ice water in here for that. I'll check on those. Okay, I've got the freeze dryer cooling. Oops. I always set a timer so that I know when it's ready, because it doesn't like to wait for you too long. Okay, I have some, these need to drain. And then I'll come get the second half of that. I think I'm gonna dump the second half straight into the dish, the colander in the sink, and then run cold water over it so that it, I don't need to use more ice, and I'm pretty sure I can fit what's left in there. Okay, this is the last of those. Let me check on my chunks that are over here for mashing. Bubbling away, a nice hard boil. Let's get a big chunk. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna let these go for like 1 more minute. They're almost done. Meanwhile, I'm going to get these ones onto the freeze dryer trays. Okay, I have no idea how many trays this is gonna be. All that cutting, and it may not even be 5 full trays. I've got calluses and blisters on my fingers, and my wrist is sore, and I'm pretty sure the heel of this hand is going to be bruised from pushing on the knife with it. Just try to dump some out on each one. I'm hoping it'll be 5 full trays, just because I do make that hash a lot in the winter. Let's see, I've got some more in the bowl, but we'll spread these out first. I've seen some people put things in the freeze dryer really like stacked thick, and that's okay for like herbs and stuff, but things like this, they'll sometimes stick together and not dry all the way where it's making contact, so I prefer to have a single layer of things. Looks like it will be 5 full trays. Awesome. I hate when I spend a whole lot of time cutting and prepping food and it's not even like a whole batch. You know what I mean? Okay, my timer says I still have 6 minutes until this has to go in, or until my freeze dryer is ready for me. So I'm going to go ahead and drain those bigger chunks and start mashing them. Okay, these are ready. I'm going to drain them in my colander and get them into my stand mixer over there in the corner. Okay, let's pull this out. I'm just putting these straight in. Like I said, no salt, no milk, nothing like that. Just mashing them. Okay, I probably have to do this in 2 batches. Oh, maybe not. We'll see. That's hot now. Okay. It's working well. Just scoop down the sides. Scoop down the sides. Couple chunks, but it's almost done. You know, you don't want to overbeat regular potatoes because the starches will make it start to turn into glue. I don't know though if sweet potatoes have the same issue. I don't feel like they're as starchy. Okay, so I'm gonna let this kind of cool, give it a stir every few minutes to help release some oxygen, some hot oxygen, and then I'll get it into bags and into the freezer. But we have quite a lot of the sweet potato mashed and ready now. Okay, I have these going in. Okay, I like to pull my little ring thing out to make sure that it seals. Close the door, latch it, and then I check, see that black line, I check for that all the way around to make sure that it seals. And this is how I fill bags. Easy way. Stick them in a cup inside out. Well, not inside out, but top down. I'm gonna leave these bags open so that they can continue to cool. They've been cooling about half an hour. Most of the recipes I want to try with the mashed stuff, it's gonna be 1 to 2 cups of mashed sweet potato per thing. So I'm going to put 1 to 2 cups in each bag, and then I freeze these individual bags in the gallon size zipper bags. So I'm done loading one. Just pull it up, squeeze the air out, zip it, and these will stack nicely inside the gallon bag.